Yes.
You have like a good relationship with your voice. Do you like to sing? Like you sing?
I don't. Yeah, I like to sing. I don't consider myself a singer. And part of it, I think, is from doing voiceover, and there are so many people who are just incredible, vocalists in every way. Gray, Delisle, and Kevin Michael Richardson, and Rob Paulson. I think I am primarily an impressionist, a mimic, which makes it hard to sing. Because if you ask me to do harmony, the first thing I'm going to do is start singing what the guy next to me is singing. I say, no, you have to sing different. I can't. My impulse is to match what I hear, which is why I'm talking like this, because this is the way you guys talk. No. We're in Taiwan. No. Yes.
How difficult is it to sing in character?
How difficult is it to sing in character? It's actually easier to sing in character than out of character, because you've established, what a character's voice is, and so then you're not tripped up by your own limitations. I'm not trying to hit a note that Phil would hit. I'm trying to sing like Hermes, and I know that there's just some notes Hermes can't hit. When I was young, just a little boy in Kingston Town. So I can. It's freeing, actually, in some way, because you don't have to think about yourself doing it. You think about the character doing it.
I don't suppose that you're a method actor. Like, you never had to eat a manwich to get into the role of Toby Conrad.
There's not really any method. Although I did have one engineer tell me he had a big movie star doing an animated feature, and at one point in the script it says that her character twirls during a speech that she's giving, and the actress wanted to twirl during that one sentence of a long speech. He's like, really? She wants to, and it's a big movie star, so they put microphones in a circle to record, not even the whole speech. It wasn't like, she's twirling through the entire speech. Just one line. And it's like, your money. But, yeah, generally speaking, people you don't memorize, which is actually part of what makes it hard. Because I don't know if you guys realize, when you're reading something to somebody, how flat it sounds when you're reading words off a page, right? I mean, that to me is the biggest trick of voice acting, is reading words off a page without sounding like you're reading. Yes.
One of my most favorite episodes of Futurama was the Inspector number 5 episode. Is there any chance, or do you have any say in maybe having more Hermes-centric episodes in the future?
I have no say. When you've got a writing staff like that are also brilliant. I mean, think about it. They've been doing the show for over 10 years, and I personally don't see any discernible drop in quality. In fact, if anything, I think the show's gotten better. And that's incredibly rare, and to hold on to as many of the same staff writers as they have. I would never second guess those guys and try to tell them where to go with the story, mostly because they all went to Harvard and are lunch. Yes.
So with the singing question, why don't you disassociate and be like, what would the character of Phil do while singing?
Because I'm not a character, I'm real, man. I'm here. You already had it. Oh, yes. Or a click. The popular kids want to talk.
I know that obviously, maybe during some days of rehearsals, maybe some of you might have in mind of pulling pranks on each other, or there might be some unusual days. What are some of the most weirdest days of rehearsal, or so that comes to mind? What was the most unusual day of rehearsal?
God, I don't know. I mean, that's funny. I guess there is quite a bit of playing around. I mean, we don't rehearse much. I mean, with Futurama and a handful of like the primetime shows, you get a day where you read through the script in front of all the writers, and then they do rewrites based on whether it was funny, whether the jokes worked, and then you go record. Well, I was going to say, there's never a lot of fooling around because the clock is running and you're recording, but there's usually a lot of fooling around. The one I remember most is when Futurama, they were doing the professor, and for some reason, everybody got Bowie on the brain, and everyone was doing the professor as David Bowie. Ground control to Major Tom. Commencing countdown, engines on. And just, that sort of set people back for about 5-10 minutes. Billy was doing it, DiMaggio was doing it. It was just like, what are we doing? Whoa! There's some more questions.
Do you ever slip into character on accident in real life? And then you're doing a voice.
Actually, occasionally I do, but never my own characters. If anything, I will slip. There's a character that Nicole Sullivan used to do on Mad TV named Antonia. Ethan. Do. I mean, because those are really things you say a lot in life. Sweetie, did you think? No. But yeah, I don't usually slip into my own characters. I mean, I guess what would that be like? If you ever start saying things from work at home? What do you say at work? We gotta get this down to HR.
Whose idea was it to do the Pulp Fiction skit on Mad TV with you being the character that you were the character?
Oh, well, that was just sort of a no-brainer because Pulp Fiction was, had just come out that summer and we were coming on that fall. Although I was a little bugged because I really wanted to play the Sam Jackson part. Actually, I wanted to play the Sam Jackson part when I was auditioning for Pulp Fiction. So I thought, now I finally have a chance. But they came up with this guy, oh, no, you'll say, you'll say, oh, no, not again. I was like, that's a really lame joke. But I get it. And Orlando was taller than me anyway, so. I'm just happy to be a part of it. Yes?
Do you still have a process that you go through when you're creating a voice, or have you just been doing it for so long now that you find it really easy just to walk in and go?
It varies. The process of creating a voice for a character depends on what they give you. Sometimes you get a drawing, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have an entire script, so you can see where the character's going, what he's about, who he's interacting with, and sometimes you just get the lines. Or other times it's a character that someone else has already created into voice match or something like that. Which again, that's a completely different process. Matching, like matching Chris Rock's voice. Is different from creating a new character. Although a lot of times when you're creating a character, you'll find it reminds you of either somebody you know or a famous person. You might take a famous person's voice and tweak it slightly. Oh, I got a Robin Williams thing, but it's supposed to be a kid. Oh, hello, what are you doing? Hello. Dial, make it a little higher, something like that. It's usually about finding a gut feeling and then building on that. Because, you'll do like 5 takes. It's like, oh, this idea, and usually the first idea you had is the best one. One more? One last. Anybody not asked one yet? And there's a good question that doesn't have the word favorite.
Over here.
Is this a good question? All right. Oh, wow. I mean, you have a high opinion question, because you like gave that one a so-so. I don't know if I want to waste my last question on what you think is mediocre. All right, we're already in this. We're in it. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, well, just, I like Futurama, and I remember I would see old, like, early concept sketch of Hermes Conrad, and he looks like Dexter, director, so on. Is the Jamaican part something you brought to the character, or did they make it up before you came along?
That's weird. Because the design of the character has not changed. The name of the character has changed. He was originally called Dexter. But then they realized they had too many names. They had like Bender, and it was kind of about it.
Professor.
So they Bender, Professor. So they changed the character's name to Hermes. And for the first 4 episodes, he was not Jamaican. But it wasn't my idea. One day after a recording, Matt Groening came up to me and said, "Hey, Phil, can you do a Jamaican accent?" And I knew that the character wasn't really working that well. Like there wasn't a lot of funny stuff for the character, which is not a good thing. When you got like 7 characters, like, well, maybe they'll just write him out. Which they might have done had they not been able to find a way to hook into it. And I said, yes I can. And once we started doing the accent, the writers found a hook for the character. And the voice helped them find the character's internal voice. And now we're still doing it 12 years later. All right, that's all.